you find yourself being bitter, nihilistic, resentful, cynical, and every time that you need to engage into a kind of action or into kind of activity in your life, your first thought is, what's the point of that? That's fucking useful, that's as useless, that's as no meaning at all. Please watch this video because I would like to share a framework that helped me going from a nihilistic and cynical and feeling like nothing make really sense to find a grasp a little sense of meaning in my life. And I want to do that by watching this problem from different lens. I want to explore it from a neurophysiological lens. I want to explore it by a religion side and more on a philosophical also side of things. So keep watching because this might really help you. So on a neurophysiological level, what I want to explain to you is that we have dopamine, all right? And everyone is talking about dopamine, no one really understands it. Dopamine is not the molecule of pleasure. It's not fucking that. It's not that. Dopamine is the molecule of expectation. It's the molecule of anticipation. When we imagine something good happen, when we have a certain outcome and we dream, we fantasize about it, the level of dopamine in our system increases. Why does the level of dopamine in our system increases? It's because dopamine is necessary in our nervous system in order to move from point A to point B. If we wouldn't have dopamine in our brain, we wouldn't be able to move. In fact, people that have Parkinson's disease or any kind of disease of the central nervous system where dopaminergic neurons are depleted also have problems with moving, okay? So when you have a certain kind of dream or certain kind of desire, dopamine in your system increases so that you can go to reach this desire, you can go to reach this thing. And the more you get closer to your goal or the more you get closer to what you want, the dopamine in your level increases until you get what you actually want, and it decreases very fast. Okay, I will put a graph around here so that you can watch it by yourself while I'm speaking and have a visual cue about what is going on in our neurophysiology. So, since dopamine also causes us pleasure, the more you're pursuing something, the more you're getting closer to a certain goal, the more you feel pleasure. Okay? Oscar Wilde, I believe, was he or someone like that who says that waiting for the pleasure is better than the pleasure itself. Some shit like that. I don't remember it exactly. I'm fake intellectual, okay? And this is kind of science, kind of bro science. So trust me, I know what I'm doing. The fact is, the more you get closer to a goal, the more you feel pleasure. But when you reach this goal, then all dopamine decreases. So you feel more pleasure by pursuing than reaching, than gaining. So ideally, what you should have is a goal that you can never reach, so that you can always get closer and closer and closer and closer, but never actually grasp it, so that you can infinitely feel pleasure and fulfillment and excitement from getting closer to the goal. So you gotta need an infinite goal that you can never reach, but you can always get closer. And this is where religion comes into play. You see, in religion, God and getting closer to God is the ultimate goal. When you are doing good actions, you are getting closer to God. When you commit sins, when you commit what for Christianity or for Islam is said as haram or sin, you get farther away from God. So you got this goal, which is God, and you're trying to get closer to it. You're trying to get closer to the divine. This is the actual goal of the religion. But the divine is so high, so ineffable. It's something that you cannot truly reach. It's something that you can get closer and closer and closer, but you can never truly reach. So this will trigger our neurophysiology. This is my take, all right? This doesn't have some, at least in my knowledge, doesn't have some scientific papers, so take my words not as truth, but as my personal reinterpretation of these theories. So you get closer and closer to God, but you can never truly reach it, so that causes you to feel fulfilled. It causes you to create meaning in your life. because meaning need an ultimate goal. When you have an ultimate goal, every action that you take is either making you closer to your goal, or it taking you farther away from this goal. And if every action acquire meaning, it make you do +1 or -1, a series of action will create a story, will create a narrative of you getting closer or farther from God. I hope it makes sense, okay, what I'm telling to you. You have this ultimate goal. With every action that you take, you're getting closer, you're getting farther, and the sum of this action will create a story, a coherent narrative about you getting closer or farther from this ultimate goal. And a story and narrative create meaning in life. Okay, so you gotta have an ultimate goal, you do some action in order to get closer or farther from it, and this will create meaning and narrative. What's the problem? The problem is that we don't have God anymore. Religion isn't really a thing in our day-to-day world, at least in my personal experience. I see that a lot of people are not really into religion, and the people that are into religion don't really go into it to a deeper level. By the way, I'm not a Christian. I'm not someone who strictly believes in God, okay? I'm not like that. But I think that it has a big place into our spiritual existence. We need to have God, or we need to have something that is metaphysical, that is ineffable, that we need to strive for. Otherwise, on the spiritual and metaphysical level, we cannot truly exist, and we distract ourselves with fake idols, and we distract ourselves with endless pleasures, not really dedicating ourselves to something bigger. So what is the key to a meaningful life? If we saw that there is this ultimate metaphysical goal, we can choose another metaphysical goal, which are our values. Okay, our core values are nothing but metaphysical, ineffable, great things that we try to get closer to, but we can never truly grasp. Okay, how do you discover your core values? Well, I have a couple of questions that you can give to yourself in order to journal on it and trying to grasp what your core values are. Your core values is basically your North Star. It's something that you use in order to guide yourself on your day-to-day actions. And the three questions that I would like to ask you are: what were the moments in your life when you felt the most aligned with yourself? Which character traits you showed in those situations? What are some abstract values that you incarnated in those moments? And who are the people that you admire the most? Which character traits they showed and you found inspiring? Okay, these are three questions that I would like you to journal about it and see where are the gaps, the overlaps. Okay, what you found in question number 1, maybe you found that again in question number 2 and number 3, okay, or vice versa. Okay, so when you find different core values that repeat themselves across these different questions, you understand that this thing is very important to you. For example, in my personal experience, I found myself that discipline and courage was something that when I pursue those kind of values, it made me feel fulfilled, it made me more happier, and it made my life generally better. So every time that I'm doing an action that is getting me closer to be more disciplined, or is getting me closer to be more courageous, I'm getting closer to my ultimate goal. I'm living in a meaningful way. When I'm doing something that gets me farther from these core values that I have, it hurts, it still sucks, but it's still meaningful because it's related to an ultimate goal. It's related to something that I value. The problem with nihilism is that you don't have nothing that tells you this is good, this is bad. And I get what you're saying. You're probably like, but there is no real value. There is nothing that really matters, actually. And I would tell you, yes, you're right. But if you want to be sane on a metaphysical level, if you want to be mentally stable, you need to kind of delude yourself. You don't you don't really delude yourself, but you get my idea. You get a belief in something, and you actually truly believe in something, because there were times in your life when you lived with certain core values and your life got better. I don't think that you don't have at least one moment in your life when you lived through certain virtues and it made your life better. There are. These moments are there, you gotta just think about it and find them. Hope that this video was useful. If you have any kind of concerns, if this actually sparks some intuition into you, if that gives you some ideas or new problems, you can book a 15-minute call with me when we can talk about these issues, when we can talk about what actually you found, the problems that you found, and I will help you for free to get out of this situation. Or I will try to give you my help as much as I can if you found this video useful. So, this is over. Remember to aim upward as always.